evening, and welcome to Sporlitiks, where sports and politics mix and mingle. I'm Stacey Johnson. Joining me tonight is Aguna, the voice of reason, Stephen, the independent thinker, Keith, the constitutional conservative, and my cousin Todd. We have a packed show for you tonight. Vice President Harris has picked her running mate, Governor Walz of Minnesota. What do you think? The Olympic medal count is increasing for Americans, and former Mayor Bloomberg donates $600 million to 4 Black medical school endowments. Why did Italian boxer Angela Carini apologize to Olympic fight winner Iman Khalif? And one of the squad members, Cori Bush, Congresswoman Cori Bush of Missouri, loses her Democratic primary. And preparing again to defend Israel, the U.S. presses Iran and Israel to both de-escalate. After emotional family reunions, the 3 Americans freed in a historic prisoner swap in Russia face a challenging road ahead. What was that? A popular trading strategy just blew up investors' faces, and financial markets all over the world heard and felt it earliest this week. Those things and more, if we can fit it in. First up, the Olympics.
I can't hear.
What did you say, Cousin Todd?
Mute everybody. Mute everybody. There was 1,000 things going on.
And I didn't hear any of it.
Oh.
I didn't hear any of it.
Okay.
I didn't hear any of it.
Okay.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, Stephen, we hear you.
I can't hear.
Oh, Stephen can't hear you.
I hear you. So we're going to play a little bit about what we saw with the Olympics. And then everyone's comments. This is just.
I'm going to hang up and try again.
Track and field. Please. Here we go.
Woo!
All right.
He came out of nowhere.
Since we heard the woo-woo.
That brother came out of nowhere. Woo!
From Keith, you want to talk about it first?
Well, I just say that brother came out of nowhere. I love to see those brothers run. And this is where me and Todd may agree. Todd, we should agree on this. The brothers, man, you just can't beat the brothers. They are just, no matter what country they're in, they are doing great.
So wait a minute.
That's not true.
Let me get this.
That's not always true.
Wait, Stacey, he's talking to me. So just be still. Now, Keith, are you saying that all Black men can do is run fast?
No, I didn't say that. I said they just can't beat the brothers. Yeah.
Who can't beat the brothers? I don't understand your terminology. Who can't beat the brothers?
I thought you would agree with me on that. I said, in this race, you saw all Black men, well, pretty much. And in the race, just about mostly Black men or mostly Black women.
I want to know.
And I'm just pointing out the fact that no matter what country it is, they're usually Black. Most of them.
So
I said most of them.
So I just asked you this question. You sound like Donald Trump.
Oh.
I said, are you saying Black men can run fast? Number one. Okay, number two, you said you just can't beat the brothers. Who cannot beat the brothers specifically?
Well, usually the other races, because there are many other races.
Like white people? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, not just
afraid to say Europeans?
Yeah, not just whites, but how many Latin Americans do you see in there? How many Chinese? What about the Chinese? The Chinese were doing well in gymnastics. That's where they were strongest. I mean, I find that very interesting. The Chinese and the Japanese did very well in gymnastics. They're very strong, and it's hard to beat. And also diving, the Japanese girls, man. I mean, the Chinese girls. And then you had the white boys. They were doing great with swimming. There was one Black, but not too many. So I find that very interesting, the sports that they choose and for their abilities. And God has given us certain abilities, I guess, that in certain races, you might say they're different. I mean, that proves something to me. Actually, I just see this. All men are created equal, but not all men are created equal in physical prowess or ability. All men are created equal in that they are created in the image and likeness of God. So that shows you that the Declaration of Independence is a good document to understand how all men are created equal. We need to have a
Okay, you've
discussion on
wasted
that.
my time, and Todd, you've encouraged him to waste my
Yes.
time, and we
Thank you,
need to be
Stacey.
covering the Olympics. So let me share my screen so we can move on. And Keith, I'm sure you'll want to talk specifically about this our
All men are
Italian
created
boxer.
equal. What about
Yes.
women? Women are left out of that.
No, men means mankind. All men and women. It's
Why
talking about
didn't
mankind.
so then why didn't they say that? Were they dumb and ignorant?
No, they said mankind later on in
Ma'am,
the same
they
text.
said all men.
Stop talking, Todd.
All men means
Thank
mankind.
you.
That means I'm making too much sense for Stacey.
That means the
She
human
wants
race.
Some supporters to.
Here we go.
Italian fighter Angela Carini abruptly withdrawing from her match against Algeria's Aman Khalif after just 46 seconds and some hard punches. Khalif's participation in the women's matches has been under renewed scrutiny. She was disqualified from last year's World Championships after the International Boxing Association said she failed a gender eligibility test. The International Olympic Committee saying this morning that all the athletes in the tournament comply with the competition's regulations.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show.
Okay. Let's start with Aguna. If Aguna could get his lights right, I would appreciate the lights you had before look better. What happened to the light in the background? That looked better.
I took it off so I could see myself. There was a glare.
So you can see yourself. What is wrong with you?
That sounds like something a narcissist would say.
Yeah. All you do is
it takes one to know one.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so look. So
do you want to talk about this boxing match?
Yeah, I was going to say. So didn't they come out to say that she was born? Wasn't she born a woman? It was just she had like bottom line of it, she was a woman, right? And I thought that they came out and confirmed that later. So I think she had like some, I don't know personally genitalia or something was going on. However, she was born a female.
Okay, we can hardly see. You're gonna have to get some light in there somewhere. It don't have to be behind.
I got the light that you sent me.
Hey, take a flashlight like you're doing scary stories.
Okay. All right. We can see
myself fine.
Yes, we can see him, Stacey. So stop harping on that. We move on.
No, we want me to give you all.
Yeah, you got some nerve, cousin Todd. Now, that looks better when I don't know what you did.
I'm not doing anything. I think it's the
He's got his flashlight.
All right, thank you for the effects. We're gonna move on. Everybody's got a joke.
Nas did say you look like Count Chocula, Keith.
So, Keith, you wanted to talk about the fighter being a gender other than male, and come to find out the fighter's gender was female. And what are your comments?
I don't believe it. Simple as that. I think it's
not for you to believe. That's what came out.
What are you going to do? How are you going to find out whether or not it's true? You're going to check.
Go look for us, Keith. Since you're so worried about it.
That's the only thing. That's my comment. I don't believe it. I mean, they lie so much in the.
You believe it enough to bring it up?
No, I'm not. That's it.
Why are you worried about it?
I don't believe it.
Why are you worried about it? Is the question.
I'm not worried about a thing. You
brought it up.
I didn't even know. Look, I just think that the girl quit. She quit. She never been hit that hard, she said. But I believe that was a boy. I mean, a man or whatever. So
even though reports have confirmed that she wasn't, you just want to believe.
That's right. Because I don't believe. Because I don't believe their reports.
Sure, you don't believe the sky is blue either.
I don't believe their reports anymore, and I believe Kamala Harris and her.
Yeah, exactly. Let's not believe anything. That's what we're gonna stick to.
I don't believe. Well, no, you guys do the same
thing. We believe everything Trump says.
You do the same thing.
Only if Trump says it, we believe it.
You pick and choose what you want to believe. I pick and choose what I want to believe.
Okay,
so go.
The
Next.
We follow the facts.
Next.
You got
So
that
you just
right.
wanted to come on the
Next.
show to say you don't believe something just to make a point that you don't believe in it. Good job.
Here we
Do you
go.
know the difference between fact and fiction?
Why?
Whatever.
All right.
Hey,
Them brothers.
who wants to talk about that?
Well, like I said, those brothers can move. I wonder which one of them will be playing in the NFL, Aguna.
None of them.
Well, I wonder if I could real quick, Stacey. I didn't get to mention the men's gymnastics, and they got the bronze.
Yeah.
First time they've medaled in a long time, and that was fantastic. And it was a whole mix of different people. One guy was blind, one guy was black, one guy was Asian or something. Everybody was different.
Wow.
But they came together and they got third place. And I saw them, and I had something else to do. My son saw the Japanese and he saw the Chinese, and I said, well, there's no way they beat us because these guys were freaks. They were absolute freaks. He said, oh no, Japan won, China came in second, we came in third. I said, wow, I want to see those. He said they were like watching cartoons. It didn't even like it was physically possible. And so congratulations to third place for the bronze for the gymnastics.
Has anybody ever broken the Jamaican record, the Jamaican brother? Anybody ever broken that yet? Or is it still
You mean
his?
Usain Bolt?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think he still holds the world record. I know what's his name was trying, but I don't think he got it.
Okay.
So let me show what Stephen was just talking about with the Olympics, the men's American Team USA gymnastics. I won't play much of it. You see them coming out.
He said a dude was blind.
Yeah, he can't see without his glasses hardly.
Wow.
And he said, hold my glasses before he got on the horse. And then when he got up, he said, somebody give me my glasses.
Which one, Stephen?
The guy wearing glasses.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, he's hyping it up. Been hyping it for years.
I don't hear Todd giving more credit to the brothers. You know, they're doing good.
Why are you pointing that out? Why are you saying that about the white guys? You must have watched the Boondocks or something this morning.
I'm messing with Todd.
You're just trying to say brothers many times.
Thank you. We're not going to go off. I don't want to go off a topic. We got to keep it moving.
I'm just messing with Todd. That's all. Aguna, I'm just messing with it.
I know.
That's a good story. Let me see if I can show that we do have some actual words. It would be nice to hear from our medal gymnastic American athletes. So let's see about this. Sound is pretty good.
Very well. Man, let it play out. Stephen Neterozic, Team USA's pommel horse specialist, nailing his routine to help the U.S. men win bronze. By the way, their first medal as a team in 16 years.
The drought is over.
It's
okay?
over.
The guys, they all delivered stellar performances across the board. Asher Hong, Paul Judah, Brody Malone, Stephen, and Frederick Richard. We've got Asher, Brody, and Stephen with us here. Paul and Frederick have a good excuse.
They're very busy.
They're preparing for the all-around final tomorrow. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
First of all, you've done something that men's gymnastics has been trying to do for nearly 2 decades. What does it feel to walk in here with medals around your necks?
Completely ecstatic, like you said, we ended that drought and we're so excited to be here, and we hope it's an inspiration for the next generation.
Well, the place exploded when you guys won. It was incredible. And Stephen, we were watching you as you were preparing for what do you say to yourself during that time before you got on the horse?
Yeah, so in that moment, I'm doing my breathing exercises. Yeah. We always try to keep our heart rate down. And through that 5 minutes, I'm sitting there, I am just visualizing my routine over and over again.
We could see you repeating it. You could tell you're like 1, 2.
Exactly. Yeah. That's all I'm doing in my head.
It's amazing because we can see how strong you are physically. You guys are all so mentally strong. You have to be. Brody, I know your first round was not what you wanted to be, but then you came back and nailed it.
Okay, we have to stop there because I don't have too much time to show that. So we're going to move on. Anyone have any comments about the medaling for the United States in the Olympics. I think we have caught up to, I'll show it in a minute. I think we have caught up to the Chinese in medaling.
Yeah.
I think we're ahead now.
Yeah, we're way ahead of them. But I mean, the
Yeah.
gold, gold we caught up with.
Yeah,
but,
gold, we're right around them, but overall medals, we have more.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. All right. So let's move on and let me share my screen to this incredible. I know I'm missing something with the Olympics, but we don't have much time because we come on later now. So I've got to move forward. If I remember what it is, I will play it at the end of the show.
You missed the girls, the ladies in the Olympic sprinters.
Oh, I would love to hear that. So that is the Harris Wolves team coming out in Philadelphia at Temple University. I'm surprised we don't hear
Since the
anything.
day
Maybe
that
we'll
I
hear something.
announced
Okay.
my candidacy, I set out to find a partner who can help build this brighter future. A leader who will help unite our nation and move us forward. A fighter for the middle class. A patriot who believes, as I do, in the extraordinary promise of America. So, Pennsylvania, I'm here today because I found such a leader. Governor Tim Walz of the great state of Minnesota.
Okay, let me stop and let's start with you, Keith, the great governor of the state of Minnesota.
Well,
great state of Minnesota, the governor, what does that ticket?
What is your question about him? Say again.
My question about him was what your thoughts were with that ticket with Tim Walz.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well,
Kamala Harris.
It is what it is. She's a progressive. He's a progressive. That's what they want. And she also announced the. I like what Harris said. She said something that was true, and I want to quote. She said. America must choose between two different visions, one focused on the future, one focused on the past. Well, I don't know how far past she's talking about, but if it's what I think it is, then she's talking about the past when we actually followed the Constitution. That during the Reagan era, in most cases, we did follow the Constitution. And it's important that we adopt the principles of our Declaration of Independence and follow that. Now, future means it's very dark. The future is going to be darker and darker and darker. It's not going to be lighter and brighter because they have a different
Keith,
vision.
I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to
So
stop you there because all you're doing is saying things based on words, light, dark, future, past. I want some specific policies, some specific reasons why you think these things are going to occur. For example, you could say, I think Vice President Harris's policy on climate control is going to be whatever, and that's why it's going to be a dark future as opposed to a bright one. You have to say what it is about the dark or the bright that you're referring to.
Okay, I'll start with immigration. I'll change that. Her policy on immigration. She never visited the border, and she never strengthened immigration. It was in her. She was the immigration czar, and yet she did nothing about immigration. And the illegals kept pouring over the border even more under her watch. So she did nothing about that. So that is what I'll just focus on.
All right. So just a minute before I go to Aguna, because he's biting at the bits, I want to play this so you can hear what Governor Walz has to say. Let me go back. All right. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you were gone while you were off playing hockey, Todd.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is you play when you turn your camera off.
Yes.
We were discussing issues.
Wow. Thank you, Philadelphia. Thank you, Madam Vice President, for the trust you put in me.
Thank you, Madam Vice President, for the trust you put in me.
Thank you for bringing back the joy.
Thank you for bringing back the joy.
Minnesota's strength comes from our values, our commitment to working together, to seeing past our differences, to always being willing to lend a helping hand. Those are the same values I learned on the family farm and tried to instill in my students. I took it to Congress and to the state capitol, and now Vice President Harris and I are running to take those very values to the White House.
Okay, Aduna, your thoughts on Vice President Harris's pick as Governor Walz as her future hopeful vice president?
Yeah, it was a safe pick for her. She wanted someone that was relatable, right? So he came across. I know they keep using the word coach, and after listening to him, I can see why she picked him. I mean, he was, he's like a normal guy. It's like he's a guy you'd run into at the grocery store. But I think it's interesting what Keith just pointed out about this whole concept of a border czar that the right wings and people are trying to, they're trying to brand Kamala as this border czar or something like that. And it was interesting because I remember the Republicans impeaching Homeland Security, director because of the border crossing. Why didn't they impeach her? Why didn't they pass the bipartisan legislation that the Republicans crafted back in March? And by the way, border crossings are down statistically over the last 4 months. So there's some things that have worked. So this just goes to show you how the Trump campaign and even those on the right are struggling to try to define this candidacy. Now, I will say this. I thought Shapiro was going to be the pick because of the battleground state. I think most analysts and political analysts were thinking Shapiro because of, his ties to Pennsylvania and because he's a great orator. I mean, he knows how to rile up the crowd. But again, I think this Walz candidate was a safe pick. He's from Minnesota. That blue wall they're trying to maintain, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, is one of those things where he can talk to the kitchen table issues. And if you look at Walz and J.D. Vance and how they talk and how they try to connect with the audience and connect with people, it's like night and day almost. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a problem in the sense of, this branding and this name calling and all the negative stuff that, that the Trump campaign keeps pushing. Now you're seeing Kamala Harris and Walz with this positive, let's move forward. And you heard Keith say, oh, well, he's a progressive. It's only the Republicans that have labeled being progress as a negative thing. This progressive, well, he's going to wear that as a badge of honor because what's going to happen is when you look at his record, yeah, I'm a progressive because I want to feed children. I'm a progressive because I want background checks, which everybody in the state of Minnesota wanted at the time. And by the way, they reelected me because of the things that I did. So it's going to be hard to kind of label this guy and, in contrast to J.D. Vance, who is very awkward. And I mean, he was even trying to stalk Kamala Harris's plane on the tarmac. I mean, it's just some weird stuff coming out about this guy. So anyway, but as you can see, same old talking points. Borders are, migration is down. I mean, I'm still waiting for this caravan to arrive that Trump was talking about in the midterms, which ended up costing the Republicans. So this fear-mongering tactics, you're going to hear it on this show tonight. That stuff is just going to be tired and not work in the long term.
I'm sure that's very interesting.
There was 10 million people that came through unvetted. Do you know where your caravan was that you talked about? That was the 10 million people that came up through our border with Kamala Harris.
I was on mute. I'm sorry. I was talking. I was on mute. I said, Stephen, she seems to have a momentum going. She started out of the box with a huge momentum, raising a lot of money, as we talked about. Now she continues to raise money. She continues to have people volunteer for her campaign, and she is moving ahead in the polls against former President Bush.
Bush.
What's gonna what
is
will take her
correct.
over that edge into the presidency?
President Bush?
I mean, former President Trump. I was thinking
Right.
former presidents.
No, this is what has happened now. The momentum has changed. She had a little bit of a period where everybody was loving her because it wasn't Joe Biden anymore. They didn't have to worry about cleaning up somebody's mess that they did on the ground. Didn't have to worry about that. They had somebody good. And then Donald Trump picked somebody that people like Aguna could say, oh, he's weird. Everybody's gonna say he's weird. There's something wrong with him because he wants people to be married and have good lives and love God or whatever. He's a weird person. And they said he was the worst pick that was ever for vice president was ever picked. Is Donald Trump made the biggest mistake. And then Kamala Harris said, hold my beer. And she just picked the worst guy ever. I don't think these people want to win the presidency. I'm honestly I'm not joking at all. I really don't think they want to win. And you can tell by that she took him. He is a horrible human being. He is a horrible person. And all of it's going to come out. Maybe you haven't heard it yet. Maybe you have. But he's a real bad guy. And they have just torpedoed themselves with. Yeah, he's a really bad guy. He's got to. He was in a National Guard unit, and he said, got the unit ready, and they were going to Afghanistan, I believe. And then at the last minute, he took off. He said, "I quit." They demoted him, and so he. But he also said that he carried guns in war. He didn't carry a gun in war. This guy's that's one thing that he did. He's a really horrible guy. Another thing he did was when Minnesota was burning down, he didn't call the National Guard. See, Aguna knows what I'm going to say about this guy's the truth, and he don't want me to tell it. You don't want me to tell the truth. Generally, if I was you, I would have been muted by now. If I was you, I would have been muted.
Folks, read the comments.
Okay, thank you.
See, if I was you.
Stephen. So thank you, Stephen. If you look at the screen, Aguna has gone on and made comments, and he said, ask Stephen his source. What is your source for this information you're telling us
The
right
people
now?
who served with him when he was in the military are pissed off at him, and they're talking about him. Huh?
What are their names?
Manny, Mo, and Jack. Google it.
Okay.
Google it. You think I'm lying? You think it's not the truth? Why would I know? Why would I have their names in front of me? That's a stupid question. That's a real stupid question. Yeah, I have the facts. I have the facts because the guys who are in his platoon are bitching about him, and that's a fact. That's a fact. The fact that I don't have their names, it doesn't matter. What I said is true, and it would hold up in court. I don't have to know their name. That's a stupid question.
Stephen,
this guy is a piece of garbage all the way around. When Minnesota had their riots, he didn't call out the National Guard. No, this guy's got a lot of baggage, and I don't think the left wants to win. And he's not a progressive. He's a Marxist communist. And he wants to cut off little children's genitalia.
Received his order. The guard received their orders in May, so it's almost 2 months after he left that they received those orders.
No, it's not true. People are pissed at him. No, he got out.
Talk about military records when you got Donald Trump, Mr. Bone Spur.
No, don't go to Donald Trump. Stay right here, Guna. Guna, don't go to Donald Trump. Stay right here. I don't care what Donald Trump did. Hey, if you know what Donald Trump did, you know what he did. Let's talk about what this boy did. Let's talk about what he did or what he didn't do.
You don't know your source. You don't know the details.
Donald Trump's been vetted. You know this guy's a bad guy.
He's a felon. Yeah, he's been vetted as a felon. He's been impeached twice.
They keep ignoring me. We're going to bring in Bogo. I can't read the last name. Welcome to Sporlitiks, where sports and politics mix and mingle. What's your comment, Bogo or Bogo, Lizzie?
So, first things first, I want to commend Aguna on a great breakdown of this whole situation. Once again, Aguna's taking all the good points. I would like to fine him or something for the show. You can't use all the good points, sir. I need time too. Now, the thing about like Waltz in this whole situation, like Stephen got the timeline wrong where he said Waltz was first and then Vance, when in actuality, Vance came first at the Republican convention, and things started to kind of, like, Trump was on a high. He had just beaten up Biden. He survived the shooting. and everything looked up. It looked like a landslide. And then next thing you know, the rug's pulled from underneath him. Now he has a different opponent. And this opponent has, just a outpouring of enthusiasm across the country. And it looks like they're just hitting all the right notes. She brings in this guy, Waltz, has a stellar record as a former military man, former football coach. He's the most Midwestern corny dude you would ever want to meet, like a real family man, likable type guy. Like, I don't see any issues with him. And he's pretty good on the microphone, as we seen yesterday. But kind of getting to the downsides, because I think Aguna gave all the good. So the downside is ability to draw crowds and kind of make this rush till November has allowed Kamala not to have to be scrutinized and do one-on-one long-form interviews and be pressed on her positions. So because of that, she's kind of skating. So she's getting away with something that normally you're not able to get away with at this point in the cycle. And then the other part is, think about what her major positions are going to be. We don't know yet because she doesn't have to commit, because right now they're riding the wave, trying to hit as many states as they can. And ultimately, this serves as keeping her stuff close to the vest, so Trump and company don't have much to attack. So it serves two purposes. So there's a downside to all of it, but as far as if you're the DNC or the Dems, you're looking at this like, we thought we were going to lose the most winnable election ever, and now everything's going our way. Like, they're just throwing sevens, and it's just landing everywhere. And then on the other side, Trump's just come off the campaign trail. We don't know why. J.D. Vance appears not good enough on the microphone to be able to be a stand-in for Trump, and appears to be an anchor pulling Trump down more than anything. So, yeah, this is a really fascinating situation. Like, there's going to be so many books written about this time that we're living in, where we saw all of this happen in real time in a month. This fight that was supposed to be
It's
Biden,
not even
Trump,
been a month.
turned into this.
It's actually been like
Okay.
2.5 weeks.
Okay,
And-
let him finish. Why are you cutting him off?
But
I thought he was
That's
finishing.
even more that's even more amazing that it hasn't been a month. Thanks for the correction, but yeah, cousin Todd, I agree.
But
She
to your
would have cut
point,
Stephen off.
But to the point,
Way to go.
if her knock is going to be she doesn't do interviews, because I've heard that come up. Like, she's afraid. One thing they're trying to paint it as she's afraid to do interviews. She hasn't done interviews. If that's what you have to say about her candidacy, right? At this point, you have to attack her on not being able to do one-on-one interviews with the media that you've painted as bad your whole campaign and everything like that. You're digging. It's like a ditch. It's almost like, I know they live on hypocrisy, but at the end of the day, she's bad because she's scared to do interviews. Okay, I'm pretty sure they're going to do interviews. It's just, again, it's only 2 weeks.
So no
out.
transparency with you, right? No transparency.
Where is transparency? She has a press corps on the plane where she talks.
Yeah,
to the press,
right.
Right. So I mean, what would you say? You really want Donald Trump doing interviews? I mean, what does he say?
He does it all the
Excuse
time.
me, cousin Todd. Let me get cousin Todd in here. Cousin Todd.
Yeah. Now, how's that working out?
It's great. He does great interviews.
Sure. Yeah, right. Yeah, on Fox. On Fox.
He does. No, he does. He did a great interview.
So cousin Todd.
He does great
Okay.
interviews at the National Black Journal.
Aguna. So
MBJ was a
I
great
think
interview.
this was a great pick. Her picking Waltz. And I didn't necessarily want her to pick Pennsylvania Governor Shapiro because
He's a Jew.
Say what?
Because he's a Jew.
Oh, so I didn't necessarily want him to run because white people don't like Jews, and so I thought that would be a stress on the ticket.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You mean white liberals?
No, white racists.
They're the ones
hate
protesting
Jews. Remember?
against the Jews.
They said the Jews will not replace us. Remember that? And
They
Trump
were
said,
plants.
"Good
They
people
were
on
not
both
real
sides."
people.
So I'm
Real
moving
people
on.
like me don't walk around with torches.
Can he get his time in? Why do we have to listen to you? Let him get his time.
So that's why I was afraid for her to pick Shapiro, because white racists are alive and well and they're Trump supporters. So I didn't know how well she would do with him on the ticket. This guy is sort of white bread, and just what she needed. Just a basic white guy, rural, nice, intelligent, and can speak flat. You don't, when he speaks, he's not talking over your head. He doesn't sound like a politician. And I think that'll serve her well.
The memes online said he looks like the old white uncle who comes to the restaurant and says, how'd you get in here? Like one of them type of white guys. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like good natured dude, man. Like we all had friends like that. Like old school white dude.
Yeah.
It was a good pick.
It was a good pick because I like things that he says, like, yeah, I'm evil because I'm going to feed the children in my state. Free breakfast when you go to school so you can learn.
That's progressive.
Yeah, that's right.
That's super liberal. Feeding kids.
Feeding children.
Telling the government to stay out your medical history.
That's right. Now you force these girls to have these babies because no abortion and then starve them to death.
Oh my God.
How you like that?
The idea of the government leaving you alone. My God.
Yeah.
All right, so let me play this, please. Let me play this. Why is this not playing?
Well, you probably have an Obama phone, and it really doesn't work in situations like this.
Right. Okay. Let me
But
go back. And, we had a little technical difficulty at the beginning of the show. Okay. Here we are. Here we go.
Well, it's true. These guys are just weird. And it's, they're running for He-Man. It's true. These guys are just weird. And it's, they're running for He-Man Women Haters Club or something. That's what they go at. That's not what people are interested in.
Well, they're the weird ones. And if you've ever seen her with the laugh and everything else, that's a weird deal going on there. They're the weird ones. Nobody's ever called me weird. I'm a lot of things, but weird I'm not.
Let's talk about the things that are weird. You think it's weird that Democrats want to put sexually explicit books in toddlers' libraries. We think it's weird that the far left wants to allow biological males to beat the living crap out of women in boxing. Kamala Harris comes to Atlanta and talks with a fake Southern accent, even though she grew up in Canada. You can't make it up. That's pretty weird.
All right. Comment to that, Stephen.
All right. Right.
Well, I mean, what's weird is this governor, Walls or Balls or whatever, he wants to cut off. He's allowing children to have sexual work done on them without parental consent.
Okay, wait a minute. Stop right there.
That's what he passed in his state.
Stop right there. Stop right there. What are you talking about? We will not talk about stuff like that without some sort of. You got to have some sort of foundation or some sort of.
The governor signed in that the children do not have to talk to their parents.
You can't do that. You have to have some sort of. Do you have something to give me that I can show?
He signed it into law. It's a law.
He signed it into law. I'm sorry y'all are ignorant to what's going on. I'm sorry this man's been around a couple of days and y'all are so ignorant because all you do is watch The View and you have no idea what's going on. The View is not going to tell you the truth. They haven't up until this point. You know nothing about what's going on. So I say crap on this show and then I have to go back later and show Stacy, this is what I was talking about every time because y'all don't do your homework. What are y'all doing that y'all don't know anything about this governor? Any of y'all? You're pathetic. All of y'all are pathetic. You don't know what's going on. Oh, I got Keith knows what Keith. Don't you know about this governor? Don't you know about him? Don't you know he didn't call the National Guard when everything was burned up? And his wife said, the governor's wife said, she loved the smell of the burning tires so much that she kept the windows up in her house. She left the windows up because she loved it because they were so happy that people were burning businesses down. About 80 businesses burnt down in Minnesota, and only 20% of them came back. And the governor and his wife got off on it. They got off on it. Find out what's going on, people, because you're making me sick with your ignorance. You're either ignorant or y'all are lying. How do you not know what's going on? You'll make me sick. Make fun of us all you want. We know what the hell is going on. Y'all don't know crap.
I mean, he
Thank
got
you.
reelected. I
So
mean,
that is the trans. I think he's talking about the trans. The way he said it,
that
didn't sound
trans
right.
thing
So
was
I looked
wrong,
it
though.
up,
That was
and it's called the Trans Refuge Bill. And I'm looking that up right now
And-
so that we can share that with you all.
Okay, and
but just for the record, Stacey, at the 45-minute mark, because I had a bet on this, I knew Stephen was going to have a meltdown. You know, usually it's right around the 45-minute mark, but he was a little bit earlier this time, but nonetheless, he did it. So kudos to Stephen.
And then Stacy has two because she tells me to stop talking and she'll speed Nas up, but she won't stop Stephen. Now wait, this is what
Now,
I'm going to
Stephen
say.
doesn't say that. Stephen claims that I cut him off.
Have to say what he
Stephen
said.
claims I cut him off.
Okay,
And now
all right,
you're saying
all
I
right.
don't.
Well,
I can't
she couldn't cut me off then because it was radio gold. It was gold. She couldn't cut me off then.
Let's get back to the topics instead of the mental
All right, so we're
illness.
going back to the topic, and this is called. If you look at
I
my
thought you-
look at the screen, please. Excuse me, stop talking. Thank you.
Okay.
Let's read the bill.
Governor Walz, in March 2023, issued an executive order protecting trans patients' ability to receive medical care that helps them live according to their gender identity. The order shields patients, parents, and providers from punishment by other states for seeking and delivering such care. I don't know where Stephen's getting some other ideas from, but that's
Yeah, it's something else besides that. That's one thing, Stacey, but it's something else besides that, and I'll show it to you after the show because I don't have access to a computer right now.
Right on, buddy. We believe you.
Okay.
You calling me a liar?
I mean, we have the evidence
do
there.
all the
And you're
time.
saying
No,
it's
that's not the evidence. The evidence is they're letting kids. They're doing stuff. If you don't let your kid do what they want, the state will take
Okay,
your kid.
we gotta
If
move
you don't
on.
allow your
We
kid
gotta
to get
move
what they
on.
want, the state
That
will take
clears
your
up
kid.
everything. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. That
We
clears
have
it
to
all
move
up.
on. Thank you.
If the kids want to change their sex, you have no say in it as a parent.
Oh, so it's a matter of privacy.
Aguna.
You have no say of it when you're a parent. These are children, Aguna.
Is it a matter of
He's just
privacy,
eating
or
up
what
time
are
on
you
this
trying?
show.
Okay,
Can we
I'm
move
sorry.
on or get back to the original topic? Like this.
Don't want to get you involved in the
We're
series
tired
now.
of beating up on Stephen. Let's go on to the other.
Ain't nobody touched me yet.
That's what you think.
Okay.
Getting
Yeah.
roasted, buddy. Getting roasted. It's too easy. Yes,
Yeah.
Stacey, we're with you. Let's go.
I know it's hard for people to keep up because that's not the question she asked him. She asked him a simple question and it turned to a tirade. Can we get back to your question or the next question? Like anything?
We're going to go to the
Stacey
next
wants to
question.
go
Thank you.
to?
I was setting it up. Representative
My bad.
Cori Bush lost her primary, and let's see what she had to say.
Second time this year, a member of the Progressive Democratic Congressional Group, known as the Squad, lost a primary election. Missouri Representative Cori Bush was defeated yesterday by St. Louis prosecutor Wesley Bell. It was just one of a handful of primary races across the country that we were watching last night in states including Michigan, Missouri, Kansas, and Washington. CBS News political reporter Hunter Whittle joins us now with more on this story. Hunter, thanks so much for helping us break this down. So this is now the second member of the Squad to lose re-election. Explain why.
Good morning. It's good to be with you. This Cori Bush primary for Representative Bush, it was an interesting dynamic because while this obviously mimics the loss that you mentioned for Representative Jamal Bowman in New York a few weeks back, Representative Bush had some other struggles as well. CBS News had reported that she was under investigation by the Department of Justice for potential, misuse of funds for personal security. That was a big factor here potentially. And also, she has obviously voted, against Democrats at key times. I'll also note millions were spent trying to defeat her in this primary by a group linked to the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. That's hard to not see as a factor in the loss that we saw last night.
Interesting. And Tuesday night also solidified the Senate race in Michigan in November as three-term Democratic Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin will now face Trump-backed former Representative Mike Rogers. How might this matchup shake out?
You can't overstate how critical Michigan is likely to be in this November general election because not only do you have the Senate race where current Democratic Senator Debbie Stabenow is retiring, and this is a seat that is absolutely crucial to Democrats trying to maintain their Senate majority, their very narrow Senate majority in the chamber. But Michigan is also home to 15 electoral votes. Those votes are likely to be key in the presidential election. So not only do you have control of the Senate at risk, you also have the potential impact of what this could mean in the presidential election for both Trump and Vice President Harris.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also in Washington, Representative Dan Newhouse, who is one of the 10 House Republicans who voted to impeach Donald Trump, was fighting to hold on to his seat in the state's 4th congressional district. Break down what's happening there.
Congressman Newhouse is one of the final Republicans left in the U.S. House who voted to impeach Donald Trump after the January 6th Capitol attack. Most others have either retired or lost primaries in the past. This race is fascinating because Washington State has a primary system that means the top 2 advance the general election, regardless of whether Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever you like. So this is a race where Donald Trump actually favored 2 candidates against Newhouse, and obviously that's a challenge. Now, it doesn't sound like there's a result in this race yet, but Newhouse is one of those final Republicans left who actually challenged Donald Trump after Jan 6, said, hey, I'm holding you accountable with his vote. And obviously that's something that Trump has been very determined to try and oust him.
Okay, lots to follow here. Hunter, thank you.
Stacey, you're still on mute.
Oh, thank you. Sorry about that. Keith, I want to talk about how the down ballot races are being affected, even as we see this once in a lifetime showing by the vice president. And you see there are losses by the progressive Congress members in the House and Senate in their primaries. How do you think that's going to play out as the Democrats try to win the presidency and they want to actually have control of the House and the Senate? Because Vice President Harris did say in Philadelphia she wants to sign the Voting Rights Act bill. In order to do that, she's got to have either a deal with the House and the Senate, or she's got to have the House and the Senate Democratic. Keith.
I am so sick and tired of hearing about this Voting Rights Act bill. I mean,
what? You're black.
Yeah,
How could you be sick of it?
Because
didn't you fight for it? How old are you?
Leave him alone, Todd. Don't extend his time. Let's let him finish.
Let him bury himself.
Go ahead, Keith.
The right of citizens, Section 1. This is Amendment 15. It says the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. That's enough for me. Simple.
So
okay, thank you.
Marbles.
Leave him alone, Todd. Leave him alone.
Go ahead, Cousin Todd.
Okay, I'll just use my time to say how ridiculous that was and how many people died because they could not vote and they were trying to vote.
What did I just read?
Well, unfortunately, in Mississippi, they didn't read that. When
yeah,
they
don't need another
people
law.
like you in the head.
And what makes you think a new law is going to stop it? What makes you think a new law is going to change it? If you think it's
thank
that
you,
bad,
Aguna.
I think, I do think Keith raises an interesting point. He's saying
oh
that
my gosh,
it's already in the Constitution. So why should you have any protection, any additional protections? Because it's already in the Constitution. The problem is, what we know from the Black Codes and all these other things, that states have taken liberties to circumvent certain things and interpret the Constitution differently. Hence why we had this problem to begin with, right? So now that you're starting to roll back things and push things back to the states who screwed it up to begin with, I think, there needs to be certain protections or certain language around protecting people's rights to vote.
And why do we have civil rights, Aguna and Keith? Why do you have civil rights?
Look out, Aguna.
Because
He's coming
the
after
Constitution took care of that, didn't it?
No, it didn't. What did I just say? Did you not hear what I just said?
I'm making this point for dumb Keith, but you're trying to date him. So I'm
not trying to date him. I'm just saying he's trying to say the Constitution was good enough, and I'm saying, well, it wasn't enforceable based on what the states were doing.
It was so unenforceable They had to come up with a new law
Thank
just for
you. Thank
you.
you.
Steve.
Stephen, the same
Uh-huh.
question to you.
What's the question, Stacy?
Oh gosh, I'll give it to you. Do we need the civil rights law, or is the Constitution enough?
That wasn't the question, but Todd's gonna make one up. Go ahead, Stephen.
Since I got a really bad question, I was just going to ask anybody if they've heard anything lately about the shooter that shot Donald Trump and killed a man and injured somebody else. Have we heard anything else about him? I mean, he's 20 years old. He's got he has no Facebook page. He has nothing in the media. Nothing. How many 20-year-olds do you know that don't have any record of being in social media? They don't have a social media. They're covering this up. They're covering it up, and they're keeping us distracted. So we need to know what happened. But you know what? We don't know what happened with JFK because they won't release that either. So this is this is a government that's in charge right now that does this.
Bogo, what is your name on here? Bogo what?
Thank you, Stephen. We do need to
Bogo Go-Go. He's Bogo Go-Go.
Bag of za.
Bag of za. I'm sorry, I couldn't read that without my glasses.
Bag of rocks.
Bag of za, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So answering the first part of your question, which some people seem to have forgotten or just ignored, where you talked about Kamala's ability if she's able to win, her ability to get certain things passed, where you're saying some of these progressives are being knocked out of the races. So going back to Cori Bush, yeah, if you take a position that is pro-Gaza, pro-Palestinian people, then you're going to have to deal with a foreign entity called AIPAC that is going to put so much money into your race that they try to push you out, and they've been successful.
But wait a minute. Stop right there. She was pushed out by a gentleman who ran for the Senate position, lost it, and told her that he would not run against her. He ended up running against her and beat her.
I can't believe
True, but who it was really didn't matter because any stand-in that could, roll his R's and cross his T's was going to be able to win with the super PAC money and all of the negative ads that they put out against her. So she was always going to lose. But bigger point, think about this. Even if they do lose a few members of the House and Senate, if she's able to win this election, we have to think about a whole new functioning of government, because that would mean Donald Trump has lost 2 of 3 election cycles. And at that point, all of his power over the Republican Party, where he can say, hey, you guys better not vote for this, or we're going to do this, all of that goes away. And we go back to the days of where we can actually have bipartisanship, because you'd have a Republican Party where the moderates within the party, and also some of the even old guard Republicans would have a much bigger voice at that point. Because look,
no Bush at the convention. What convention do you know of that doesn't have a Bush?
Hold on, because I think people need to understand this. If Trump loses this election, MAGA is dead, because he can't run again. He's too old. And at that point, you've lost 2 out of 3 elections, so you won't even be able to get the financial backing to do it again. So this is do or die for Trump. This is now or never for him. And again, if you're the Dems, you're looking at it and saying, we'd much rather deal with old school Republicans and people who we see as, similar partners in functioning government, as opposed to people who are, put in just to stall and stop everything. So that's a whole different world. And Kamala or whoever the Dem representative would be, you'd have much different options than we've seen since 2008. That's a different party.
MAGA is more than just one man. MAGA is a movement. It's not Donald Trump. It's an entire movement. If Donald goes down, the movement does not stop. That's silly.
Okay, so how many
you
candidates
believe that
backed by Trump won re-election in this past election cycle?
You mean 2020?
Wasn't it one?
We talking about 2020?
Exactly. What movement are you talking about? This is a cult. It's not a movement.
This is not a. This is what y'all call it as a cult. It's a movement. You can call it a jar of peanut butter. You can call it a jar of peanut butter as well as you call it a cult. No, you know what? Cult doesn't have any significance over us. It's a MAGA movement that's more than just one person. It's not going to stop with him.
Okay, so what are the principles of the movement?
Smaller government. More power to the people. That's the purpose of this. It always has been. This is how the Republican Party is supposed to be. This is a Republican Party that actually had balls enough to go in and free the slaves. That's the Republican Party we have now. The Republican Party we used to have would capitulate to the Democrats, and y'all call it bipartisanism. It wasn't. We would have to capitulate to y'all, and you would get everything you want. That ain't the party we want. I know you want that party. You want Republicans like Aguna. You want Republicans like Aguna, but you ain't gonna have that no more because it's more than just Trump. It's a real movement. It's a movement that includes everybody. This is why black people are coming over to this movement, because we're the huge tent. We don't use anybody. We don't use it. We don't tell anybody lies and then not help them out. Donald Trump, when he was president, he said what he was going to do and he did it. And when Biden was in office, he did everything is a mess. And Harris is tied up in this mess. And she was the southern border czar. In the real world, Donald Trump should win 49 to 50 states.
You said that the first time.
Y'all are just so encumbered by your own smell of your farts or something, man. Y'all can't get a thought in your head that's right.
It's okay.
You're not even thinking. This is a movement. This is the people of America. Your side let how many millions into our country? You let millions into our country to hurt us.
Stacey.
Your side hurts us.
Your side, my side. I'm on the side of America. I don't know which
raising
side
worries
you're
the economy may be headed for a recession, and the Fed could have waited too long to start cutting interest rates. The Dow dropping more than 600 points on Friday, its worst day since May. The S&P had its worst week since April. The selling spreading to Asia overnight. Japan's Nikkei index tumbling 12%, its worst day since the stock market crashed back in October of '87. European markets are also red across the board. Half of credit card holders are carrying debt month to month, the highest figure in more than 4 years. A new Bankrate survey finds 60% of those with credit card debt have been in that state for at least a year. More than a third say inflation has been made worse, made their burden worse, while a third cite high interest rates. CrowdStrike says it shouldn't be blamed for Delta Airlines flight disruptions following last month's global tech outage. Delta CEO says the outage cost.
Okay, let me stop there. I want to talk about that stock market crash last week. We lost somebody. Oh, we lost Keith. I want to talk about that stock market crash.
That's actually a gain.
We had space for a real conversation, and we had to listen to this nutter just yell off nonsense for 3 minutes, and it just killed all the air in the room.
It kills all the lies.
He said MAGA is a movement.
Let's talk about the stock market crash. Please.
Stock market crash. Okay. Let's go ahead.
Yes,
Let's go.
please. Go ahead, Aguna. Talk about the stock market crash.
Okay. An analogy, the stock market is like a spoiled kid, right? So as soon as you don't pay it attention, it's going to act up, right? The Fed said they held the rates steady because of inflation, right? They didn't lower the rates. They held them steady. So how did the market react? They got upset. The Fed is already going to lower interest rates in September. But what you see happening is greed. Companies are cashing in and they're trying to future and project, and they're trying to you look at a lot of the stocks that were set off were tech stocks, Bitcoin. Oh, I wonder who contributed to the JD Vance campaign. But at the end of the day, it's about them shorting themselves so they can project and have future profits in the next quarter. So those things happen. I think it dropped 1,000 points the other day. If you look even in 2021, during 2018, it dropped higher than that. And what happened the very next week? It jumped right back up. The stock markets do this all the time, and they already know the Feds are going to lower interest rates. So what do? You hedge your bet. You sell off, and then as soon as they lower the rates, you get future gains, so you make even more money. The stock market is not a full indication of how the whole economy is going to go. It's a matter of corporation fudging the books to make more money. So yes, they were mad that the Feds didn't drop interest rates, but they know that the Feds will. So what do? They try to press the issue by selling off and showing volatility. This is not, at the end of the day, for those of us who it's a short and long-term game, you're going to make the gains back up. Even today, there were certain sectors that already recovered. Also, you got to look at what was going on in Japan. They had something very similar in which they lowered interest rates. They're fighting off inflation, and a lot of companies here invested in Japan. So some of their future earnings impacted our economy, the global economy. There's a lot of factors here. But at the end of the day, nothing that the president or anybody else can do is going to stop the market from making money. They're going to make money regardless. They're going to make you sweat. They're going to make but rich people make money regardless, right? So there's no way that any president is going to stop or impact the market other than rich people making money. So that's what people got to understand. It's a long-term game here. So if somebody comes on here and says this is the biggest drop in history, it's the biggest drop since 2022, right? So what was the biggest drop before then in 2018?
It was bigger,
right?
Biggest drop ever.
Google it, all right?
Biggest drop ever.
Anybody else want to comment on that?
Yeah.
Well, Stacey, I'll just say
the stock market drop.
I want to say something.
Yesterday.
Well, hold on, Stacey. And
I want to say something too.
Another thing to add, we have to really recognize this, especially in the tech sector, as Aguna kind of alluded to. The amount of rug pulling that happens in today's day and age is astounding because we have so many retail investors, aka regular people, who get on YouTube, find their favorite guy, and they follow the tips of that guy. Problem is, the other people who are basically watching them make their small investments, they're using complicated algorithms, like really sophisticated stuff, and they just play these guys for a sucker every time. So go to social media and read about a new coin that's coming out, and you'll see all these regular working Joes put their money into the coin. Well, no, I'm talking about any form in the crypto space. There's a million of them. They'll put their regular hard-earned money into this, and then the people will let them pile it up and then just pull the rug out from underneath them. And they do it on a daily basis. And then you see on social media a million retail investors yelling at some celebrity who advertised the coin, and that was why they invested in it. Hulk Hogan did it a couple of weeks ago. What's the girl from Australia? Iggy Azalea did it a couple of weeks before that. Like, people are using star power and their fans and abusing them in a market where they don't understand what's going on. And as far as the Fed, like, understand, Aguna broke that down perfectly. But understand one thing about the Fed, man. This goes back to Aguna saying they're going to make money regardless. The Fed has two crude tools to try to manage things. And those two crude tools, it's just not enough. There's really never going to be enough to be able to like stop the volatility, because the problem is if you try to slow volatility too much, you end up putting a ceiling on earnings, and at that point you're shrinking your pie as far as GDP, wealth, and everything else. So it's a complicated situation, but there is no easy answer. Hey, the Fed pushed the button, therefore, like, no, it doesn't work like that.
But like I said before, and I want to emphasize this, crypto, in order for crypto to be successful, you got to devalue the dollar. Okay, so you got to be very careful, and you got to think about it when you look at I mean, because why would you trade in crypto if the dollar has higher value? You would keep your money in the dollar. If you look at, and when you start talking about regulation, if you deregulate crypto and everybody starts moving their money and their assets over,
no, we're not saying deregulate it. No, that's Donald Trump. It will be
under a JD Trump administration.
Yeah,
right. Todd loves crypto. He invests in crypto. You know, he loves
Todd, you're a brave man, but you're still the dollar is the world currency.
That's
for now, but they're trying to do away with it.
If it shifts to crypto, then that's when people need to worry about their 401ks and stuff like that.
Could it be that they're actually worried about her policies because she spiked for a little while when she came? Could they be worried about her policies, businesses? Because with Donald Trump, big businesses could do better with Trump, with taxes and everything. Her policies will hurt business. During Biden, a lot of businesses have shut down, and maybe a lot of them are getting spooked because they think there's a chance that Harris could win, and they want to get out before that happens. That's a possibility too.
Aguna, let me address this first.
I'm saying they're worried about her policy.
Environmental policy.
Exactly. Let me address this first, Aguna. So first thing first, don't give credit to a president for a spike, and you don't give blame to a president for a decline.
Right,
like
neither one
has anything to do with the president. So
nothing.
It does.
The job market, any of it.
Dude, it does.
To do with them. We're talking
if they don't want to get taxed too much.
Second point? Okay, stop. What's the second point?
God damn, man.
Trump will cut taxes.
Blogger, what's your name? What's the second point?
On who?
Oh my God. Exactly. He doesn't
On the
understand
people
what
who
he's
own
saying.
businesses. On the
Okay.
people who own
No.
businesses.
They just
That's
talked
why
about
they like
Harrison
Trump
said they
more.
were taxes too.
Hey,
Child tax credit.
I was waiting for no
That has
Blago.
nothing to do
Blago.
with the conversation we were having. The conversation we were having was
Right.
volatility in the market. We were talking about
Right.
somebody who's a smart operator like Todd can figure out ways to make money in crypto. He has to be comfortable with some risk though, because there's a lot of risk there. Now, when people start talking about regulation within those spaces, guess what? At that point, the party's over because you can't make those 20x, 100x type of plays in 1 day, 1 hour, or whatever. All that goes out the window. That's why, as Aguna said, most people, they want to make a quick lick with crypto and then convert it into dollars and move on. But there are other people who studied it and figured out different ways to make money. But regulated markets, like when we talk about the dollar, the reason it's there is because of what? You always have some guarantee that the U.S. government is the last resort of return, no matter what. But with crypto, no regulation. So if you get scammed by, some operator, hey, there's nobody to call. That's just it. You lost.
Okay,
That's the
thank you.
game.
Let's look at our comments. We're out of time. Look at our comments. We have Aguna said he left in March. The order was received in May. Joseph Sutler said, great show tonight. Aguna said, the fact that they are responding means it's true. Stephen Meltdown. Trump incited a riot, but you want to talk about how Waltz responded to a riot and has since been reelected. Keith doesn't like the Voting Rights Act. Black codes. And then Aguna said, MAGA is a movement and Stephen can't even spell it. Let's start our round table. We're going to start with Keith. You can comment on whatever you like because I wasn't able to cover everything I needed to cover tonight. So Keith and Stephen, then Black, I don't even know what it is.
Bag of za.
All right,
Bag
Stephen,
of za.
really quickly,
Make it a little
Stephen,
bit easier
check your.
because I don't have my glasses on. And
Yeah,
then
but I'm smoking on a
Stephen,
bag of za, so
All right.
okay, all right.
You ready?
So Keith,
Ready?
go ahead.
Stephen, I want you to check your when you get it while we're going here real quickly. Check your text. I sent you the executive order that was done by in Minnesota. That was done by that governor. It was an executive order on the genders. Yeah, it's an actual executive order. So you have it there. All the information's there. I know these guys. Yeah, it doesn't matter with these guys though, because remember they are of the progressive movement.
They're not progressives. They're not even progressives. That's not even.
Thank you. Go ahead, Stephen. Your turn.
They're communists. Yeah, so they're not gonna.
Stephen, I DM'd you my number.
I didn't know they were having a little middle school thing of passing papers around, behind my back. I couldn't read anything they're saying. They're roasting me, and like a private roast or something. It's really mature. It's real mature, guys. And it's just it doesn't help the show at all, but at least y'all look really good, especially the guy I can't see looks really great tonight.
Now what?
You're barely I can barely see you.
Notice how quickly
any topic in the world.
I know it's so easy to get the right information, but all they do in this show is misinform and lie. But the people are coming around. That's why we're gonna smoke them. And I said they don't want to win. They don't have any. Either they don't want to win, or they know they're going to finally take Donald Trump out. Because there's no way they should have picked that vice president. Because once the normal people that are not weird can see this guy, they'll know what weird is. This guy's a real joke. He's a really bad guy. Him and his wife.
Are they going to vote for Kamala? Are they going to vote for Kamala and her party? I just wondered. They wouldn't tell you. See, they won't say.
I can't believe
they won't say.
You guys have like a little lovers back here. What's going on?
They need it.
Gotcha.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right. Can we move on with the round table? Stacey, you're on mute.
Go ahead, Bogo. I kept saying I forgot I was on mute. See, I'm not like you all. When I go on mute, I don't talk. I don't talk over everybody. I was on mute. So Bogo, I can't, Oblazo, or what's your name?
Ma'am, I'm not gonna take this disrespect.
No.
But yeah, answering Stacey's previous question that I didn't get a chance to because somebody threw another tantrum. When she talked about the Voting Rights Act, which is something that has to be reinstalled, because we can just look at it from this standpoint. The moment the Voting Rights Act laws were somewhat taken away or pulled apart, what did we see immediately? Those same states come up with different complicated racist reasons why they could, what would we say, disenfranchise Black folks again within their region. And again, I'm not calling these folks more racist than anybody else. I'm saying they know they have a significant Black population in their area, and for decades, this has been their operation. So we know what they do. But when we put the voting rights bills back in, put the teeth in it, what happens? We have much more Democratic participation. And by Democratic, I don't mean the Democratic Party. I mean the democratic process of one citizen, one vote, as opposed to trying to stifle votes in order to win on the margins because you can't win with policy. So I'm glad you guys raised that up again because that's going to be a significant thing. And I think that's a part of the reawakening of America when we come back to being a country to where we say, hey, I may disagree with you on monetary policy, but I agree with you on this social policy. Hey, we can come together and have some type of bipartisan agreement as opposed to calling people stupid, liars, and all the other things that we've seen tonight where we're just basically trying to color other Americans as the worst thing possible instead of dealing with people as they are, which is real people with opinions. And sometimes you're going to disagree, but that disagreement doesn't have to be a national divorce or a threat of a civil war. So I look to much better times when this MAGA movement dies like the raggedy dog it is.
Thank you, Cousin Todd.
Don't hold your breath.
You didn't go to Aguna, but okay, I'll go.
I didn't. Go ahead, Aguna.
Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about this branding issue that the Trump campaign is running into, because I think even with this pick of Vice President Waltz or whatever.
Okay, thank you, Aguna. We're out of time.
What the?
Sorry, Aguna, my bad, man.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, he took all your time, and Aguna's about to sit down and have.
No, I was just gonna say one point, and I was gonna move on. But I mean, there's not enough time.
Yes, it is.
Quick point. JD Vance came out and called Kamala Harris a chameleon. So clearly they want to move away from this race thing and get to that. Oh, she's just quote unquote. She says what she wants to say to the audience that she's in front of. But I'm like, isn't that all politicians? Doesn't Donald Trump the master of that? And JD Vance himself called Trump Hitler, just like Stephen called Trump a dictator. Now, like a chameleon, he's changed his stripes, and now he's like, oh, he's the greatest. Oh, I'm about to Trump. I'm gonna kiss his ring, and MAGA is the movement again.
Thank you, Aguna.
Yes, thank you.
We were both right now.
Okay. The thing is about this Constitution is this. Keith keeps holding up this book. The book didn't mean anything, which is why you had to have civil rights. You see, because that book was not for people that look like you.
Yes, it is.
For white men only.
Not true.
This is why, I'm going to take my time. This is why white women
We're out of
could
time,
not
Cousin
vote.
Todd.
This is why white women could not vote, because that book was not for them, nor was it for Keith.
But it was left open so that can change with time.
Yeah, after everybody died, people were hung, and all this other stuff.
Exactly.
But that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it, that it was left open so things can change.
Show people in order for it to work.
And so, anyway, and then when government sanctions that racism, which is why they had a segregated military, which is unheard of. And so, blacks are owed, whether Keith and Stephen believe that or not.
Okay, thank you. To our first responders in our communities, you make our lives livable. Thank you, thank you, thank you. To the women and men of the U.S. military for all that you do in sacrificing your lives so that we are free to say whatever we choose on this show. We are forever indebted. On behalf of Aguna, the voice of reason.
The voice of reason.
Until until there's a change in the politics.
What?
I don't know what
He's
she's talking about. She's such
the
a Trump
constitutional
supporter.
conservative.
Iron that thing, man. That's
Stephen, the independent thinker.
Hey man, put some
No,
curtains
he's
up. Put
not.
some curtains up, man. You need an interior decorator. Jesus.
I'm in the base. I'm in
I
the
can't
basement.
pronounce.
There's not even a
Now,
window there.
Excuse me, I can't pronounce your name. What's your name, sir?
Bagazai.
Bag of nuts.
Bagazai.
Thank you
for
Remember that
joining us.
song? It was a
And
song.
giving us some. Excuse me. Thank you for joining us and giving us some very, very thought-provoking, enlightening points. And my cousin Todd.
Yeah, Todd. Is that orange or was that fuchsia? What is that?
He looks like he's got on a turtleneck.
I do
Is it
not.
I think his
Halloween?
beard
Is
comes
this
down to his
Halloween?
shirt. Oh, you couldn't tell the
Jack-o'-lantern.
beard looked like a turtleneck.
Is it a dickie? I can't see. Is it a dickie?
Oh gosh, no, that would be your
Stephen,
boyfriend.
you old. You old.
I know, man. You got more
No,
of an
but I know
Okay,
Todd
listen,
likes
I
the
gotta finish
dickies.
my
Todd
outro.
likes dickies.
I gotta finish my outro. Check us out on Stephanie Stallworth's The Flow Television Network.
Oh,
Check us out on X. Check us out. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Sporlitiks.com. Like and
He's warned
subscribe.
him before.
Check us out on Twitch, Instagram, and TikTok. Thank you for joining us. It's hard. These folks are hard. We'll see you next week.
Todd, where does your shirt begin and your beard stop? Where's the shirt begin and the beard stop?
And by the way, this is my real hair. This is not a wig. It's not. This is my real hair.
Did you have it done today, Stacey?
You should tell people
No,
that.
no, I didn't. Thank you.
Why do you keep saying that? Everybody knows that. Who knows you?
Everyone doesn't know that.
Oh, did
Well-
somebody think that wasn't your real hair?
No, people may think that, because
Oh.
wigs nowadays are accessories. They really are.
Oh,
They're
wow.
like pocketbooks for women. You change
I
it
didn't-
in
I
and out
didn't
like
know
a
that.
pocketbook. Yeah.
What about for men?
This isn't a wig. Huh?
Next time I'm gonna wear a
If
wig.
it's for men, it could be like a wallet. Aguna, would you ever get a toupee?
I thought about it. But I like my natural.
You really thought about getting a toupee?
Yeah, or I was gonna do like a comb over. Just
No, you couldn't do that. See, that
Hey,
might,
one of
we
them
wouldn't know you
LeBron
any other
dudes.
way, Aguna.
Well, I used to have an
Shout
afro.
out to LeBron.
Yeah.
So you saying
There's
Todd
a
looks
lot
like
of dudes
LeBron?
doing that.
No, he's saying LeBron got a system.
Yeah, he
Oh,
got a
I
unit
thought you
on
were
his
saying that Todd's whole thing looks like LeBron.
No, he's not saying that. You crazy.
I've been going bald since he was 25.
What
He
kind
has
of
a
oil do
unit
you use in
on
your
top of his
beard,
head.
man? What type of oil do you use?
It's
Varies.
it's a leave-in conditioner.
Wow.
And
And
you
you
can,
use any kind of? Is it you have any grays, or you have like a? You have
no,
like
I don't have
a
any
filler
grades.
soap?
Are you crazy?
You have like a filler soap.
Yeah, he colors it.
I do not.
Are you sure, Todd? All the stress on this show, you should have some grays in there.
No, I do not. No. Do
So
you
you
have
use
grades in
conditioner
your
like
beard?
you would on people would on their hair. You use it here and just leave on conditioner that you
What's
hear.
so funny is we're doing all this, and
Yes.
guess what? Keith keeps putting up his book. Every few seconds, he keeps putting his book up. You guys talking, and he keeps putting his book up.
He's senile. I mean,
No, he's keeping us. He's keeping us straight, man. He's keeping us straight.
And I use this. It's called.
If he kept us straight, he would get a new one that we could actually. It's like all we see is a bunch of wrinkles. How long have you had that thing?
Well, it shows that it's worn. That means I actually use it. I actually read it.
Yeah, but for what?
Reading without comprehension means nothing, sir.
Well, is that concerning yourself, my friend?
Oh,
so.
good one, Chief.
If you think so. But I think we know what we're talking about here. Keith, you have a reputation.
We just
for
have
not
two different
understanding things.
ideas, visions of.
You're a
where we
black
need to
man
go.
who's against the Voting Rights Act. Shut up.
Yes, I am. We're just to get
Are you against it? Why are you against it?
Because
we don't need it.
Because everybody's
That's why you're
voting
against
right
it?
now.
So what is it doing though?
We don't need it.
So you're against it because you don't need it, but you don't believe in what it's for.
The right of citizens.
Todd, the camera is not a mirror, Todd.
This is a federal law, federal constitution.
Why don't you come on the show next week with a beard like Todd's?
I don't know if I can grow it. I don't know if I can grow it that quick.
No.
No, you could buy one.
Buy
Hey,
one?
everybody
Yeah,
buy
find out where he got. Find out where Todd got his beard. Todd, send him one.
That's a beard weave. That's a beard weave, Todd. Beard weave.
This is really long. I just pile it up, but this is really long. If I pulled it out,
disgusting.
You go pull it off. You go pull it off.
You get French fries.
While y'all
You
playing,
eat
a
French fry,
beard weave might put you in the game with some women, man. I don't know. That might be a good idea. Beard weave out here.
That's disgusting.
I'm not wearing a beard
That
weave.
thing looks very dirty.
He leaves conditioner in it.
Obsessed with it. Stop picking at it, Todd. What's wrong with you? It's gonna come out. You're gonna have some breakage.
no, it's not. It's strong, and I use it's called like glass. It's to shine it up.
Wow.
Anyway.
When I grow mine long again, I'll get some of that glass. But in the summertime, I had to cut it back a little bit. It got too hot.
Yeah, because when you put your hood on,
yeah. Oh yeah, it don't matter if you're bald. If you're bald with no hair on your face, once that hood goes over your head, you're sweating. And if you get too close to the fire, you're really hot.
That beard is a fire hazard when you burn across.
Next week we're going to actually get some work done. Next week we're going to actually get some work done. We're going to actually get to some policies and get to some
Good luck with that. You guys don't know any policies, Stacey. All they know is whatever's on the dark web and
all they want to do here is play hopscotch. They don't want to find policies. I was watching CNN just a couple of days ago. They were like, "This is not coming down to policies. This is coming down to personalities." And I'm like, "That's what y'all want. Y'all don't want policies."
The MAGA supporter.
Hey, Stephen, I just sent you a policy. I sent one.
Spell policy. Spell
they
policy,
don't want it.
Keith. Spell
they
policy.
don't want it. You don't.
They
want
don't.
it.
No, they don't want. They can't go toe to toe with policies. They can't win that way.
Right. They sure can.
Y'all haven't set a policy on this show.
Stephen uses a bottle of cleaner that is 5-in-1. It's for body, hair, shampoo, conditioner.
You bring
whitewash.
No, I don't shampoo. I just condition. I don't use shampoo.
Do you use a
shampoo's not good for your hair.
Do you use a washcloth or you just use your hand?
I'm so big I have to use a beach towel to bathe with.
My proposal is you guys bring to the table next time. You bring to the table the policies.
I'm not
you bring the policies. No, you do it, Nas.
We tried to do it earlier, and both of you had a tantrum.
No, man, now you're challenged.
You're right.
We'll bring the policies of Trump.
We don't have to do it. We can talk about it now. We talk about it now. We don't need to wait till next week.
Hold down his.
We don't have
to wait till next week. Let's talk about it now. You want to talk policy? Let's go. Let's go, Keith. You want to talk policy? You want to run off and do some research. You should have done a research class. You should have been doing research.
5-in-1
policies.
Call us back next week. While I can make up some stuff.
Title 42. All right, Title 42. Title 42.
What about it?
Trump had it in place. Biden
and what did Biden change about it? What did Biden change about it?
He stopped
He amended it for he amended it to separate their families. He wouldn't separate children from their families. No, don't come with you better don't bring a pea shooter to a gunfight.
No,
I know policy.
Keep the illegals in Mexico. And Biden said
for remaining in place.
He said, why aren't they remaining in Mexico?
Hey, you want to talk policy? You don't want to talk.
He don't know, Aguna. Trump wouldn't have let in all these millions into our country. Trump wouldn't have allowed that. Biden changed all of his policies with executive orders, and then now that it's close to election time, Biden has tightened up the border, which he could have done the whole time. But they wanted everybody in this country for votes. And everything else, the left, Joe Biden, the people that have been running Joe Biden for 4 years.
It should be
the people that have been running Joe Biden.
You don't know you know how government works. Congress needs to do that.
No, Congress don't need to do a damn thing when it's an executive order. I got a pen and I got a piece. That's how it works, Laguna.
No, it's not.
You can do it. You can do it. Yeah, you can do executive orders.
Why should you do that? They got mad at Obama.
Can I run my conspiracy by you, though, Laguna? I got a conspiracy. My conspiracy is the deep state installed J.D. Vance as Trump's partner in order to make him lose. That's my conspiracy.
No, J.D. Vance got a great record, and he can stand on his own 2 feet. He's gonna tear wheels up or walls up or whatever. That's not even gonna be a contest. Yeah, he's a smart kid.
Awkward, man. He's socially awkward.
No, he's
and
fine.
By the way, you know Kamala had Hunter Biden's laptop.
You know you transforming.
The
right?
FBI had the laptop, and they lied about it. And that's another reason 2020 was stolen.
Open borders. She wanted open borders day one. Because that's just what she wanted. That's what Democrats, they just want open borders. They want everybody in this country.
They wanted open borders. Yeah. And we have people from 180 states here, man. I mean, 180 countries in this country, but then they're unvetted, and there's millions of them unvetted. We're in a lot of trouble. I keep trying to tell you, a country cannot withstand this invasion.
So why hasn't
we're in a lot of trouble.
Happened since 9/11?
It's not happened yet. Nope. It's coming.
It's been 20 years.
Yep, it's coming. There's never been a border invasion like we had in the last 4 years. There's never been a border invasion in this country that we've had like the last 4 years. If you want to destroy a country, open up the borders.
Why are they coming here?
My people came here through Ellis Island, and we came here to work. These people don't come here to work. These people don't come here to work. When y'all came here, y'all didn't get everything for free. Nobody did, but that's what these people are getting, everything for free. That ought to piss all of y'all off.
Why isn't this invasion happening? Why is it happening?
There's a multitude of reasons, and some things we don't understand yet. But this governor of Minnesota wants to give everybody a driver's license so they can get the chance to vote. This is what's going to happen. It's going to be a lot more illegal voting. It's going to be a lot because it's illegal voting, and who absolutely knows. And another thing is, I don't know why would you let all of these people in here that are unvetted, that like Donald Trump said when he came down the first time, he said they should be killers, rapists.
So the problem, the people are the vetting.
It's such an invasion you can't vet. They needed the National Guard all up along the whole southern border.
They're coming here to work, right?
They're not coming here to work. They get put in. A lot of them get put into apartment buildings or hotels, and they're given money, and everything else, and the same phone that Stacey has. They're getting all this stuff.
You're going to be complaining forever.
They're not coming. Some people, I have friends that have come here to work, but a lot of these people are not coming here to work. A lot of these people just get all the benefits that they can. There's a strange reason why they're doing this to people.
Put in place. You need to improve the vetting process. Let's talk solutions.
There's no vetting. Yeah, there's a little bit of vetting, but there's millions who haven't been vetted.
Are you against immigrants?
No, I'm for immigrants. I have friends that immigrants, but you have to do it the right way.
Mexico has a bigger immigration problem than we do because they're actually
Donald Trump was doing his best to stop it. And he had policies like that he was just talking about. He had good policies to keep them at the closest state to where they're coming from.
How is my hair? Is my hair okay?
No.
Okay, your beard is so long, I couldn't even tell you had hair.
Look, man.
Okay, I'm leaving because.
No, I'm just playing with you, man. Don't take it personally. I was just joking.
Taking this abuse from you, freak.
Weird. Till next week.
Till next week. Hey, y'all. Peace out. Much love.